It was fairly cold that night. 911 started ringing. It continuously rang.
911, what's your emergency?
She texted me and she said, Mom, we're leaving town.
Yes, I want to report a truck going on the highway on I-27. He's facing the wrong way and he's swerving like really, really bad.
He's in the wrong lane.
And I just remember thinking, why isn't she text me? So I sent her a text and I said, hey, are you on your way? Or
I went out to my patrol unit, and as soon as I got out to my car, that's when I got the call from the sheriff's office.
911, what's your emergency?
There's been a head-on collision on Interstate 27.
After a little bit, I thought, I'm just going to say, where are you at? So that's all I said. Hey, where are you at? Nothing. And then that's when I got a phone call.
I can't see. Hold on, let me. I mean, all these cars keep stopping and nobody's stopping to help.
And I heard Lorraine's voice change. She looked at me and she says, we need to go.
I don't know, but the girl in the front is dead and we have several girls hurt. Oh my God.
Okay.
She just drew people. I mean, literally, like, it's crazy how she just draw people in. It was really cool. She was just kind of a magnet. Whenever Ashley would walk in the room, it just, you could feel the, just the environment change.
You know, it was Cass and I for the first 2.5 years. And then when Ashley was born, I was really worried that Cassandra would be jealous. She wasn't. I mean, from the day Ashley was born, that was her little person.
I was so proud of her. I always felt like I was like her second mom.
What's funny about both of them is Cassandra would always say, I just wish I could be like Ashley. She's just so loving and giving. Everybody loves her. And then Ashley would say, if I can grow up to be like Cass, I'll be happy.
I remember just when we were little, always wanting to protect her, but I realized that as she started to get older, that she was real protective over me.
They just wanted to be together. They slept together. I mean, Ashley was the one that once Cassandra got older, I'd wake up and they'd be in her day bed because Ashley didn't want to sleep alone, Yeah. And Cassandra would be like, okay, you can sleep with me, but just don't lay your legs all over me and, just don't make me hot or whatever.
Very strong personality, strong-willed, but on the other side of it, that she loved to give. She was a tremendous giver, just with her time and even with her money, and she would look for opportunities, we couldn't pass a homeless person up without her wanting to stop and go see them.
Ashley would have given anything to anyone. I mean, money, she did it. Her girlfriends, hey, I need an outfit. Come to the house. Come go through my closet. Take whatever you want,
She was a beautiful girl, both inside and out. And actually, everybody I talked to that night, and even to this day, said nothing bad about Ashley, just how wonderful of a person she was.
She just had so many different types of friends. It was not unusual for our house to have 15 to 20 college students in it, staying the night even, and they'd come and play rock band till 2 o'clock in the morning and then crash out on the floor. And she just kind of just transcended into all the different types of people, and she just loved people. Didn't matter the age either. It was really strange because she had really close friends that were younger than her and really close friends that were older than her as well.
The one word that I think of with Ashley is passionate. It didn't matter if it was sports. If it was in the classroom, it was 150%. She wanted to be the best student in that class. If it was playing a board game, if it was being a friend, it didn't matter. She wanted to be best at being a friend, best at being a sister. She wanted to be the best, and she gave it all she had to be the best.
She was a tremendous competitor. This girl, she was only 5'4", and but played like a 6-footer.
And I remember her always saying like, oh, I wish I could be as good as you, and I wish I could. And I always felt the opposite. I'm like, I wish I could have the toughness that you have. I mean, she was little.
For example, if she got in the box and she didn't get a hit, you could almost guarantee she was going to get a hit the next time up. So she was just one of those that if she didn't succeed, she found a way to succeed.
Ashley and Cass ended up winning a state title in volleyball her sophomore year with Cassandra as a starter. And Cass was Cass was a senior at that time. Just the memories we have of her playing ball was just amazing. And then seeing her and Cass out there together as starters winning those titles like that.
I think that as each game got closer, we became closer as sisters. It's like sports was a center point for us. And so all growing up, our lives were centered around God and sports. And so being able to play with her and win, and each time we won, it was just sweeter and sweeter. And
just imagine sitting there at the pit with all, 10 to 15,000 people there at the pit and watching your two daughters out on the court playing. That's a great feeling.
Some people might think like, oh, it's just sports, but like the bond that we had on the court and just looking at each other and knowing what each other was going to do, before we did it. And then after each win leading up to that state championship, and just knowing that, like, I remember thinking, no matter if we win or not, like, I'm so blessed to be able to play with her, because how many people can say they play with their siblings, much less win? So I'll treasure those memories forever.
We had breakfast and she walked out, and she literally, it was funny, we were all still sitting at the table, and she turned around, she's like, bye everyone. And she did that big wave that she always does, I love y'all, I'll see y'all all later. And she walked out the door, and that was the last time I actually saw her alive.
My dad, was out of town and had just came back and all that, so she'd been hanging out a lot with us that week. And
she calls and she says, Mom, I wanted to tell you, she said that some girls came in, they want to know if I'll drive them, they're going to celebrate so-and-so's birthday, and they want to know if I'll be the designated driver and drive them to Lubbock.
She said, well, ask your dad, And so Ashley asked me, and this is what Ashley said, Dad, I just feel like I need to get those girls home safe.
As soon as I got off the phone, I just thought, she said she wasn't going to go, she's not coming to hang out with us. So I was kind of bummed, just not really happy with the idea at all, and she knew it.
Because we did try to stop her. My husband was worried about her driving in that weather, and so he's like, I think you should take someone else's car. And she's like, okay. And so she listened, she listened to that. But if she would have took her own car, they all would have died.
We both agreed that, that Ashley felt convicted to take these girls. And so, as you know, all 4 girls went home safe that night, and Ashley paid the ultimate price.
911, what's your emergency?
Yes, I want to report a truck going on the highway on I-27.
Okay.
Between Health Center and, I think it's Abernathy. He's facing the wrong way, and he's swerving like really, really bad.
He's in the wrong lane?
911 started ringing, and it continuously rang for, I think they had 4 or 5 calls on a gentleman that was driving the wrong way, and he was about 26 miles from me to where he'd last been called in.
I woke up about 1 o'clock in the morning, just this like wide awake, just like, I don't know what it was. It was just this feeling. So I said, hey, this is Mom, can you text me when you get to your car? And I was kind of still dozing. And then I woke up again, and I see that she said, Mom, I'm in the car. We're gonna stop at somewhere at a restaurant and get a drink and go to the bathrooms, and then we'll head out. And I said, okay, I'll see you in a little while.
She was going 65, and the drunk driver had crossed over in her lane and come up, and he was going 75. The girls that was in the car with her, Jennifer, that was sitting on the passenger side, they were talking, and the last conversation that they were having was how many kids they were going to have. And then Ashley's last words were, is that car in my lane?
911, what's your emergency?
There's been a head-on collision on Interstate 27.
Where at?
In between Abernathy and Plainview.
When I pulled up there, I was actually the second unit there. There was already another officer on scene. I did see a female that she was trapped in the vehicle. There was also 2 other females that came up to me pleading for help.
Ma'am, yes. We have a fatality in the front seat.
And so finally, I dozed off for a little bit longer, and I wake up, and then, so at that moment I start to feel a little bit anxious, like something's not right. And then that's when I got a phone call.
I woke up at 3:50, in the morning. And I looked at my phone and she hadn't texted me. Some people may not believe this, but I promise it's true. Like I had a deep, like horrible feeling in my stomach.
So I started kind of getting up already, and I heard Lorraine's voice change. And so I knew something wasn't right. So she looked at me and she says, "We need to go."
It was Ashley Richards that was trapped in the vehicle. She had metal all encased around her. She still actually had her seatbelt on, and she didn't appear to be breathing at that time.
And then at 4:07 is when my mom called me just screaming.
And so we get in the Suburban and we take off out there, and at this time I'm talking to the girl that was in a pickup truck with another group of people in front of Ashley. And I was asking her, "Is Ashley okay?" And she says, "I don't know, but you need to come right now."
So all this chaos is going on. And I can hear Mark saying, "Can you tell me if my baby's okay?" And I don't know who he's talking to. And he said, "Well, can you just put the phone to her ear?" And I knew then it was.
We're driving out there, and I'm talking to her the whole way, and I tell the young lady to put the phone to Ashley's ear, because she said she couldn't talk to me. But I know that she was standing there holding Ashley's hand. As a matter of fact, we have a picture of that someone had snapped. In a strange way, I knew that she wasn't there. You know, I was just telling her things that I would tell her anyway, but it was like I was telling her kind of for the last time, kind of.
And as I'm running towards the car, I can see her laying there. I mean, it was smashed right in her door. I just started praying and crying and screaming, and I don't know. And I could not believe what I felt like I was in this dream, like all this was just a big dream and I was gonna wake up.
But come to find out later that the accident happened at 3:50. Like, I woke up right whenever it happened.
And as we turned around to go home, I just remember thinking, my child is dead. And she's not coming home with me.
I got a text from Coach Gomez, who was her basketball coach, my best friend. And she said, "Did you hear anything? Did you hear something?" And she called me, or I called her, and she said it happened. She was killed by a drunk driver.
That particular night, you know, Ashley she was actually the designated driver, and she probably, when she left Lubbock, thought that everything was going to be good just like every other night, and just within a matter of moments everything changed.
I mean, it was a sad time, and I know the funeral, it was packed, and it was a really big church. I mean, she impacted a lot of people.
I just couldn't bury her. I just couldn't walk away from that. I couldn't walk away from those feelings that I had of standing over her at her car and standing over her casket. Those are hard things. And the only way for me to get through that is for her voice to stay alive through her loved ones, through her family, and specifically through me.
So I did ask God why, because she has so much to give. So much to give. And she did it all in a very short time, but I felt like so much more. And then one day, when I just thought I wasn't gonna make it. It was probably 2 o'clock in the morning. I just told God, I said, okay, I know that you're God, I know that you're real, but for me to be able to survive this, I need to know where my baby's at. I got in the bed, and as soon as I started to close my eyes, he jumped up out of bed. And I mean, he's like hyperventilating. And he said, I was just with Ashley.
I said, baby, where are you at? Because I wanted to know where she's at. I knew she was in heaven, but I wanted to know. And she says, Daddy, I'm just through the veil. And that tells me that she's just in this dimensional place, that she's alive and well. It's what we call heaven. But she's alive and well, and she's still living, she's still impacting lives, and so that's where I want this story to go. I want this to impact someone's life in an eternal way.
I used to live my life, we used to live our lives like we're the ones that lost someone to a drunk driver. That was our identity. Everywhere we'd go, people would stare at us and wouldn't say anything, and it was like that's what we were known for, you know? And I finally came to realize that that's not what Ash wants us known for. That's not what God wants us known for. We're put on this earth to love the Lord and to lead people to Him. That's our purpose. He gives us our families just as like an extra bonus. It's not His calling on our lives. His calling on our lives is to love people. And I think through all of this that Ash has shown us when she was here, and also now that she's not, is just to truly love people, no matter what.
If Ashley was still here and she knew what this outcome was going to be, she would do it all over again. If she knew, she would have just said, Mom and Dad, I love you. I know she would have. But I have to do this. She would say, I love you, but I'll see you later.
I'm always going to tell Ashley's story to people. I'm always going to, I don't care if it's a small platform or a large platform. I don't care if it's 1 or 1 million. It doesn't matter to me. If one life can be saved, and there already has been thousands that I know there's been a lot that has been touched and changed. Not touched, but changed. True change. See, the miracle didn't happen with her living. The miracle happened because she passed away. The miracle was that she opened her eyes in heaven. Whenever she told me in a vision, she says, Dad, I closed my eyes waiting for the impact. And as soon as I opened them, I was in the most beautiful place. That's real. That's real. I had a dream here recently that she was watering weeds. And we were all sitting there, and I go, Ash, why are you watering those ugly weeds? She says, Daddy, they're not ugly to me. And then she poured out the last drop, and she says, I need more water. And Cass says, there's no water here. And we all started to cry. We're sitting there, and she goes, yeah, there is, see? There's our tears that she's using to water the ugly weeds. That's amazing to me. You know, that she's still doing that today through the stories that we're telling, that she's telling. She's still telling the story. She's still speaking. It's just in a different way.